What's going on, everyone? So Thomas has made as appeared to have been a point in From, right? It was something that was touched on in the season 1, all the way to now season 3. You're getting the phone calls. Jim is talking to, obviously it's not Thomas, but FROMVILLE manipulating and trying to get into his mental and manipulate him and whatnot. Obviously now Jim is dead or appears to be dead. A lot of people think that was different time and we'll pick up where he's still alive. Very possible, right? There's a million ways that they could approach the opening to season 4. At least we know we're getting to season 4. I'm curious to see how they kind of approach it. But one, we have Thomas as a character, or not a character, but a talking point of a potential character. And it kind of feels the way that they keep mentioning him and bringing him up and, keep kind of using him as a ploy, that there's going to be something more to Thomas than what we've seen, what we're accustomed to. And now we know that there's reincarnation. Now we know that Tabitha is a reincarnated version of Miranda, all the way back, dating back to the beginning of FROMVILLE. Same thing with Jade, right? Reincarnation of Christopher, all the way back to the beginning of FROMVILLE. Now, is everybody that's in the town reincarnated? Are only some of them reincarnated? Is it only like the big key significant characters, right? Like, say, Boyd and, Kenny and, Jade and Tabitha and Julie, and, right? Like, how far does this expand to? Is it a bloodline thing? A lot that they still need to explain and kind of dive through if we're going to kind of get to a conclusion point and get some of these questions answered. But given the reincarnation route, right, that means chances are there are others that have been reincarnated, right? Does it just extend to Tabitha and Jade, or does it extend further, right? Is Julie the reincarnated version of Eloise, right? That could be a possibility. Obviously, Victor is still alive, right? Obviously, Victor didn't die. Eloise, we still don't have confirmation that Eloise is alive or not, right? They are doing everything in their power to not just confirm that Eloise is dead. Right? They go to literally a tombstone to what you think they're going to finally put this to bed. And then Victor goes, I don't know, right? Like, maybe it's her, right? Like, but I digress, right? You have Eloise, right? You have Victor. Victor couldn't have a reincarnated version because he's still alive, which I've talked about. Could that be the thing that kind of threw the monkey wrench in everything? Right? Everybody is supposed to die, right? That's why Tabitha and Jade keep having these, like, everybody in the town dies. They didn't used to have the talismans and stuff, so it was a lot easier for FROMVILLE to kind of wipe the slate clean and start fresh. And it also makes sense why Victor was alone for so long, right? Because if everybody dies, FROMVILLE's vacant until, the reincarnated versions grow up to the age in which they can return, right? There's always this kid. There's always, a little kid, a little boy, a little girl, right? We saw in season 1, the family that died. Was that something that kind of, balanced itself out, kind of cleaned itself, right? Victor not dying, I do believe, kind of added just an issue for FROMVILLE. And why he was alone for so long, because he had to wait for everyone else to grow up and be reincarnated through, and Victor didn't. Okay, so why did Thomas die? Is it possible, just my thoughts, right? Again, I love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Is it possible that Thomas was supposed to be the reincarnated version of Victor and there was a mistake that needed to be fixed, right? Like, you have Tabitha and you have Miranda. They're the reincarnated versions of themselves, right? You have Miranda, who had a boy and a girl. Tabitha has a boy and a girl, right? Well, what happens if you have another child? Right? Well, now it throws off the pattern, right? From is very specific, very structured. Everything, even the monsters, have like their patterns and regime and whatnot. So it would make sense that, even the characters, even as they evolve and change, are going to have that. Like, Henry is alive now, right? Henry is also in FROMVILLE. Jim, he had to die, right? Because can't have both of them alive, right? Man in Yellow comes, takes out Jim, right? You're seeing the same pattern, just kind of the reverse, right? Tabitha survived, Miranda died, right? And Tabitha seems to be the one that's going to try to figure this out, right? Her and Jade got to the memory part where they've unlocked their memories, and we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how that kind of, plays its part. But like, the point is that, Ethan is this version of the Victor, right? Can't be the reincarnated version of Victor because Victor's still alive. But there's always like this child that appears to be in FROMVILLE, right? Again, the family dies, a new family comes in. Child dies, a new child comes in. And there's always that little one dating all the way back to Victor. Victor, was the sole child, the sole survivor. But because he can't be reincarnated, right? Well, you can't break the pattern. You can't make more than the pattern, which is also why I think part of like FROMVILLE has changed and everything, because you can make the argument Ethan was supposed to be the reincarnated version of Victor, and because Victor, you've broken the mold, right? You've broken the pattern. You've basically botched what FROMVILLE is wanted you to maintain, right? So to me, I think that could potentially explain and be the way that they explain kind of Thomas and why he ended up meeting his end. Like, why wasn't he able to stay alive, right? Now, obviously the explanation is normal. And look, it could just be, just straightforward, that she turned away for a second and that happened. But it was just such a, like Dave even made it a point of like, it was just such a freak accident. It was just such a, it's something that just doesn't happen, right? That's why everyone was so shocked. Everyone was so surprised by it, right? And they had to deal with the aftermath. Okay, well, you have this like thing that doesn't happen very often, this freak accident. Is it possible that it is just that? Possible that it is just straightforward? Not everything has to be some crazy conspiracy or anything. Or is it possible that we're watching a show called From that is filled with conspiracy and idea and mystery, and nothing is out of the ordinary. Everything's very structured and patterned. And okay, now you have this other child that is born, and I mean, Ethan, you could argue, is not even supposed to be there, but he is. It's like we can't have two of those, so it's kind of got to kind of course correct itself. It's got to kind of readjust to make everything fit again, so that way Tabitha and Jim and Ethan and Julie also got to keep in mind, Thomas didn't die that long ago, right? It wasn't like it was 15, 20 years ago. No, it didn't happen that long ago, right? So you're talking about, what did they say? I think they said it was a year ago, something like that. So you're talking, like, so FROMVILLE was preparing to get these two, or this family period, to FROMVILLE. Can't have that extra body. Can't have that extra person, right? Again, like the boy in white could be the very first kid, right? Like you could have that, but and a lot of people think maybe Thomas is the boy in white, but that can't happen because boy in white appears to have been there from the beginning, and he, again, the age, even when we first saw him, was too old and stuff. So it's just, but there's clearly something there. There's clearly something with Thomas. Is it going to be just kind of this throwaway thing where they don't really mention it? They just kind of, it is what it is. Or is it something where it plays a big, significant role? I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how that plays out. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with this idea? Do you not agree with this idea? Kind of mixed in the middle. How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. Love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.